Update you on this breaking news this morning. What's being called a mass casualty incident in New Orleans on Bourbon Street there. Police say at least 10 people could be dead, 30 hurt after a car drove into a crowd on Bourbon Street. There is a news conference happening right now. Let's listen in.
Locals versus tourists. What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired on our officers from his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable, and we will give you an update on them. I have yet been able to go to the hospital. I will be leaving here for us to go visit our officers. We have called in every officer that we have. We have so much appreciated our partnerships who have also offered us staff. Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this impromptu live with us, the Bryant family live here in New Orleans. And I want to answer your question first and foremost. Yes, we were there. We were on Bourbon Street, we were on Canal Street. We actually took a picture at the corner of Bourbon and Canal. We were walking on foot during all the festivities last night. So before we go any further into it, if you have friends or loved ones, fellow OPO family that's been asking about us and how we are, invite them to jump on in to YouTube. It's on the X channel as well, the Twitter channel. We're live right now, only for a few minutes. We want to talk to you guys, let you answer some questions for you guys, interact with you real quick. It's a new day. It's a new year. Happy New Year to you guys. And we don't want to take up a lot of your time, but we want to interact with you and answer some of your questions. Thank you, DJ, for reaching out. Live it, of course, to our loyal, faithful friends. Listen, I'll say this. The Bryant family is blessed. Just like you are blessed, your family's blessed to see 2025. We are blessed as well, because as we walked the streets last night, well, let me back up just a little bit. We were looking for a house of worship to be in last night, and the couple of places that jumped out in our mind. In our community, we when I say our community, the Black community, African American community, we go to church at night for watch night service, right? I don't know if you guys do that or you've ever heard of that. If you have, maybe just pop it down in the chat and let me know yes or no. What is watch night service? You don't know. Basically, what it is it's a service that happens late at night. And instead of watching the ball drop or fireworks at midnight, we're in the house of the Lord praying, praising God, starting the year off right, in the presence of the Lord. But the church, one of the churches that we found here, they were not doing it. And another one was at a distance. We didn't really prepare for that. My son and their band had a banquet last night. So we went to visit him and see some of that stuff. Some of those pictures will be posted later. And after the banquet, we were already downtown in the city. So we said, hey, my daughter said, hey, I want to see fireworks. So we parked a block off of Canal Street, and we began to walk. Obviously, if you've ever been to New Orleans, you know that they have streetcars. So we jumped on a streetcar. It's like $1.25 a person. So we paid the $5, got on a streetcar, and off we rode up and down Canal Street, all the way down to the graveyard west, and came all the way back. But they began to stop traffic, which we thought was very different, which was even the conductor said, well, there's too much traffic, too much pedestrian. It's a huge year. So they're going to stop us about 6 blocks short of where we picked you up, which would have been 6 blocks short of right around Bourbon Street, thereabouts is where we jumped on the car. So there was a strong police presence. I had never seen a police presence like this before. And this is, mind you, 10 o'clock New Orleans time, which is an hour difference, obviously, on the East Coast. But everything was going well, except for that stop. The conductor thought it was different. We had to walk. Everybody on the streetcar said, oh, we gotta walk extra blocks. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Thank you so much. Man, listen, John, I know you're always hooking out for me. Thank you so much. I'm checking some comments out before I go much further. So I'll get to you in a little bit, Karen. So we began to walk. Once we did the entire route up Canal Street and back, we got off right about now. It's around 11:15, 11:20. And we're walking as a family, the 4 of us, because my son and the band, they were lights out. They couldn't be out at the hotel, which we thought was a little strange. But looking back at it now, we're really glad that none of the kids or the students or the faculty or the staff from the school was out, because God forbid. But this was an event that I had never seen before. You guys have to understand something, okay? Coming from Daytona, well, we specialize in big events, okay? Daytona 500 brings in, over 1 million people, and it's 1 million people there for a day. They inundate the city. Our infrastructure is set up with less than 300 officers to affect seamless transitions for ingress and egress and thoroughfares in our city, right? So I've seen this for the last 13 years, this type of police presence. So my daughter, who's in the military, was asking me, hey, is this normal? And I said, yeah, it's normal. My other daughter said, we don't do this in Daytona. I said, well, yeah, we do. And I said, what do you mean? Well, as she was saying that, we were walking past a Bearcat, which is basically an armored vehicle. And there were multiple state patrol vehicles lining Canal Street, hard blocking Bourbon Street, all the side streets. There was no parking allowed. There was, you couldn't find a place to park. We had to pay $40 to park to go see fireworks in designated parking. And the people who were reading the meters were out there heavy. There were boots on cars all around us, but people were just parking and people were just walking. Droves of people, alcohol in hand, backpacks, jackets, unknown if they're carrying weapons, any type of improvised devices, anything. We're watching all this around us as we're walking. And I was explaining something to my wife last night that she didn't really notice, but we talked about it. Since it was four of us, I was kind of trying to herd them. I was jumping to the front of the pack, getting in the middle of where we are, getting behind us, and I'm watching my surroundings because I was noticing gauntlets of people setting up on sidewalks and on side streets, sketchy looking people. Okay, and shout out to a bunch of you who were hitting me up on Twitter saying, "Hey, Mike, be careful in New Orleans. Hey, very dangerous right now in New Orleans. Be careful." Um, Obviously, one of my castmates, the show, is in town right now. He lives here. Shout out to Justin. Hey, he was giving me the heads up the whole time. Hey, go here, don't go there. Be careful here. You know. So thank you for all the insight and all the love, and thank you guys again for all the prayers. But here's where it got really, really sketchy. And if you're just joining the stream, again, let somebody know that we're live right now. Come be a part of this because there's some interesting insight that I think you should know from a police officer's perspective. Thank you, Bella. Glad you guys are okay. I cannot even imagine how traumatic that had to be to witness. And I'll go out on a limb and say this: we did not physically witness it. I will be posting some photos from Bourbon Street and Canal Street prior to the attack. Some of the stuff that took place that we saw while we were there. Um, I'm so sorry y'all had to endure this. Relieved you were okay. Hey, Katie, thank you. Yes, God is good. Thank goodness you all are safe. Thanks, Katie, for that. So we were not in the heart of the attack, and here's why we weren't. It's a blessing that we weren't. This photo I'm going to share later. Be looking out for it. Is a photo of us at Canal and Bourbon Street. I raised my phone up and took a picture. And as far as my phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy S20 something Ultra. These things have 100 times optical zoom. You can zoom way down. And as far as I could zoom, I saw nothing but people. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not bringing my family down this particular street because I don't like the wall-to-wall, shoulder-to-shoulder persons, the pickpockets, the people who are trying. If something were to break out, there's nothing I can do to protect them. Now, here's the big question that you all want to know as an officer. Well, yes, I was armed because Louisiana, you can conceal carry. So yes, I'm armed. I always have my weapon, I mean, when I can, with an extra magazine. But when you're talking about that type of crowd and you don't know where the threat is coming from, you can't just fire off into a crowd, right? So my mindset is let's avoid that type of situation. So we went a block over, just one block over, and began to travel up the road towards the Riverwalk, because that's where the fireworks are going to go out off of a little barge off the river. And I would say, how many people you think are out there, babe? A couple 100,000? A couple 100,000 easily. There's some photos I shared earlier with me and my girls, and you see a church behind us. That's Jackson Square. So right there at Jackson Square, if you've never been there, there is a almost like a little small amphitheater on the riverside, and then Jackson Square is just to the west of it. I think maybe the west of it. And they had shut the roadway down. There was a large stage there. They were doing performances, concerts. They were broadcasting stuff from right there, which is just a couple blocks from Bourbon. So we went in that area to see the fireworks. So here's where it gets really, really sketchy. We're down there and we're watching little pockets of what I like to call ne'er-do-wells, grouping up in the shadows. Um, they're by bushes, and they've got hoods on or got masks on, as if there's a super spreader event happening that we don't know about. I don't know. And I'm looking, I'm watching, I'm like, oh, like this. And everybody's got alcohol. The fireworks go off. Everybody, they're celebrating, smoking weed, popping bottles. We say our, Happy New Year's. We hug, we kiss. We thank God for bringing us into a new year. And before the fireworks are over, we begin to walk back to the car. We know what's about to happen. What we didn't plan for, and this is why they say when you go to a city, when you go to a massive event like this, you have to plan these things out. What we did not plan for was that there would be nowhere to use the facilities, to use the restroom. And it's 50 something degrees out. I've got ladies, we can't go to porta potties, right? We've got to go somewhere that is, sanitary, somewhat, if you're going to say sanitary with 400,000 people around using the bathroom. McKenna, what's up? All my family are of age to carry, and we never go anywhere without a gun, even if it's a quick run to. Yeah, unfortunately, this world is too unpredictable to not carry. 1,000%. If you're in a right to carry state, concealed carry state, and you have the ability to carry a firearm, I would urge you, go get the necessary documentation. Hey, listen, go to a gun range, a gun store, a gun instructor, law enforcement class. Learn the basics, the nomenclature, how to handle handgun retention, right? All these things, how to do quick reloads. It's very important that we are there, because the news clip I just shared with you, for those of you who did not see it, I believe that's the chief of police there in New Orleans, said they had over 300 officers out there last night. Over 300 with barricades set up, hard block vehicles, fencing, cones. They had light banks. They had officers on foot, canines everywhere. They had all the necessary, what some would feel, countermeasures. But as we were talking about, it's an illusion. It's an illusion of safety. 300 law enforcement officers to 3 to 4 to 500,000 people. That's nothing for somebody that has the mindset or the will to do something bad. So my heart goes out to those families that were there. Thank God my family was not affected. But here's what we saw, not to get off point too much. We left the fireworks show early, and on our way back to the vehicle, we noticed that some of the barricades that were up had already been taken down. They have the orange with the A-frames, and some of the A-frames are already down. In fact, I went around one of them on our exit. But before I ended up doing that, onto a road that was just been opened. But before I get into that, my daughter had to go. So we decided to go to Caesar's Palace so that she can use the facilities. And there was a line there to get into that. And so we had to wait. But then the deluge of people began to flow out. And some of the people had some concern on their face. My daughter said that the city sounded like, and these are her exact words, Gotham City. There were fireworks, but then we began to hear sirens, lots and lots of sirens, and ambulances and fire trucks were flying by, and cops started to move and inch closer into the city. And then they started to open up roads and push people away from Bourbon Street. We parked, 2 or 3 blocks away from Bourbon, maybe? And all we had to do was make a right on Canal and go right past Bourbon Street to get back on I-10. They shut all the traffic down. They began to sterilize the area as all those that event began to happen. We began to hear several, and it wasn't just fireworks. My daughter's like, this sounds like something from Gotham City. Something's going on. And she knew it. She heard it. And so they forced us out of the area and away from where we needed to go. We needed to get on I-10 and go east. They started pushing everybody west and away from the core of the city because that event had begun to take place. We didn't see what happened. We were spared. God saw fit to push us another way, because had we walked back the way we came in, we would have walked directly into the chaos, and there we would have been, possibly trampled, possibly separated, possibly injured, in an event that we could only classify as tragic, to say the least. We get home and we're 10, 15 minutes outside the city, yeah? And there's still ambulances, law enforcement flying towards the heart of the city. And we're thinking to ourselves, huh? We saw bomb squad vehicles. Yes, bomb squad vehicles. And we're like, what is happening? We scurried back home after grabbing something, a quick bite. And we sat here at the table where I'm sitting right now. And me and my wife just talked. And we went to bed, 3, 4 o'clock. And then when we both woke up, our phones were going crazy. Dozens of text messages, missed calls, from all of our friends and loved ones, and people like you guys reaching out saying, hey, are you okay? Because they're back home and we're not answering the phone at noon, 1 o'clock. They're wondering, holy crap, what's going on? Luckily, really close with our son's band director. Our son has our location. He was able to tell them, hey, it looks like they're all at a house somewhere, so they're safe, not at the hospital. So it was just, I've never seen a crowd like that was just pushing towards one event. And that's because I've never been to New Year's Eve in Times Square. Even in the event we hold in Daytona, it's only a few thousand people. It's not, a couple of 100,000 people. The police response, in my opinion, was great. They were moving. They were getting to where they had to go safely and effectively, and they weren't taking any stuff from anybody. So, do you think it was a terrorist attack? There is some information that came out that ISIS flag was found in that truck that plowed into intentionally plowed into those bystanders. I don't have enough information about that. That's not for me to call. That's the FBI's job. But thank God, yeah, praise God, Karen, we're safe. So now there's a football game tonight. We're not going to that game. I don't know if they're going to postpone that game or push it back at all. But we probably will not be going back into the heart of the city for the remainder of our stay, just in case. I mean, sometimes they claim that they've done these events, and sometimes it's not as successful as they would hope it would have been. So oftentimes they will not stop. And with a big event like the Sugar Bowl, anything could happen. They could be trying to, because some were saying an improvised explosive device located in that vehicle. I don't know. AJ Auto, what's up, cuz? Now I understand why the Holy Spirit came down upon me so strongly as we started. Cover my mom's children, cover God's children, cover innocent children. Thank God. I thank God for the prayers of the saints and those who know the words of prayer. Thank you guys so much. I mean, you have no idea. Let me see if I can pull this up right quick and show this to you. I'm not sure I can, but I'll try. Where is it? You guys got to see this. You're not going to believe this when I show it to you. So this picture I'm getting ready to show you guys, if I can pull it up, is like I was saying, us at Bourbon Street. Yeah, here we go. Window. So this is Bourbon Street and Canal Street right here, guys. This was not long before it happened. And where I'm standing is hard blocked. And there's cops all around there. So you can't get, but off to your left and off to the right are side streets. And I guess if somebody want to find their way, it's interesting because we were walking down one of the streets that was supposed to be hard blocked, and we were walking down the middle of the street, and a truck, it was a truck, in fact, right, just popped up behind us. I totally forgot about this. A large pickup truck just popped up behind us, and we were like, how'd that truck get down here? So we had to get out of the way, and they pulled into a parking lot of a hotel, and we were like, I thought this was all hard block. I should have known then that the integrity of those hard blocks weren't, because you can't put somebody on every street and stop vehicles from coming down. And if you do, you lose the fortification of the where you want officers to be for if an event were to happen. So I guess that's what happened. It's been postponed till tomorrow, Karen says. So the football game's postponed till tomorrow. I hadn't even looked into that before I started talking to you guys. But listen, we just want to jump on here real quick and let everybody know that the Bryants are in New Orleans. We are safe. That event that took place did not physically affect us at all. We heard a lot of the aftermath and the chaos there. We did not know what was happening at the time. And a lot of times people will stop me when I'm in town, like if I'm working and there's 6 patrol cars flying on the beach side somewhere, and then I cross over onto the beach side from the bridge, flag you down. Hey, what was going on 30 minutes ago? There are 6 cop cars flying. I was like, I'm not sure. I mean, I was home 30 minutes ago. I didn't see. So we want to know if you know what's going on. But massive amounts of people you can't tell unless there's some kind of mass alert that goes out, and there wasn't. So I'm just glad to be okay, DJ. Thank you guys so much. Hey, listen, we're touching back down in Florida here soon. We've got a lot going on. The show will be back. We'll be around, God willing. I'll have some more great content coming for you guys, and some more pictures and videos. I want to thank you guys for all your support, your love, your prayers, everything. We're driving back here soon. My daughter will be flying back to her military base. We're going to get her out of here. Then we're going to get out of here in the next day, a couple of days. Let us know what we should try to enjoy before we go outside of the French Quarter area, of course. We're not going down there for a little bit. We're good to go. But our hearts are out to those victims. We want to wish you and yours a happy new year. We thank you so much for being supporters. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have questions, always put them in the chat. We try to get to those on social media and on all platforms. OPL Recaps. We thank you for your support. Happy New Year. We'll see you later.